Unusual design, great sound, and really good battery life. Let's check these out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out these. Well, let me take them off from around my neck. These, I know it's kind of unusual looking, these are the Helm Audio Sportsband HD triple driver headphones. And as you can see, there is a neckband component, and then each earbud is wired to its side of that neckband. And that's the basic design. There's a magnet so it can hold it in place, which means that you can wear these if you are, for example, on your commute and then you have to walk around on the street and you want to hear people. You can just have it like this and you won't even remember you have them on until you need to, and you put them in, and then you're back to listening to music or a podcast or an audio book or being on the phone. So let's start at the top, and I'll tell you that these are powered by triple drivers, as the name suggests. It's an 8.6 millimeter dynamic driver and 2 armatures. What's the difference? So a dynamic driver moves more air, so that's where you're getting your bass from. Takes a little bit more power, and armatures are a different sort of speaker technology. There's 3 tiny speakers in this thing. And the armatures move less air, but they're more precise, they take less power, and they're better for mid-range and high-end. So 3 speakers basically in each of these earbuds. Modern technology. They sound really good. I'll come back to the sound in a little bit. They are powered by Bluetooth 5.0, gives you a 60-foot range. I don't know, I didn't test 60 feet, but I will tell you that you can put your source device down and walk away and not even worry about it, and you'll be able to listen and it'll sound great. You won't get any crackling or breakup or anything over a very long range. Very nice. They also support dual pairing, which is great. So I can simultaneously have them paired with my Google Pixel 5 and my Apple iPhone 12 Pro. And that turns out to be an interesting way to do it anyway, because they also support both aptX HD, which is great for the Pixel side of things, and AAC, which is the preferred audio codec for the iPhone. So between those, you're getting a really good, rich signal, which then converts with that triple driver into really nice sound. Now, one of the real sort of champions of this is the 25-hour battery life. So you charge it, there's an inline controller. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that real quick. And the inline controller has the plus and the minus and the pause play in the middle, but they're all multifunction buttons. So plus gives you volume up, but hold on the plus button and it gives you next track. The middle button gives you all sorts of pause and play and answer phone call and hang up phone call and all sorts of things, right? And yes, there's a microphone in the inline controller. We'll come back to that in a second, because I don't want to forget to tell you that you charge it through a connection in the inline controller. And you have to sort of move this little cover away, and then there's a little tiny micro USB charging plug. Now, I'm going to be candid. I'm taking points off from micro USB. Not a fan. I don't like having to figure out which orientation I need to use. So the next version, hopefully they'll use USB-C. We'll see. It does at least come with a micro USB charging cable, which is helpful in case you don't already have 20 of them. But that's the whole multifunction. And then since it sits, if you're listening like this and I'm like, have this in my ear, then the microphone, which is in this, should sound really good on a phone call, right? Well, I was a little disappointed with my phone call experience. The person on the other end sounded really good, but I didn't sound that great. So I don't know what exactly was going on, but don't get these thinking that you've nailed it and you can use these on Zoom for 6 hours and never have to think about that microphone. Not my experience. Yours might be different, but certainly if you're just looking at it from the audio playback perspective, pretty sweet. Now, one of the other things I want to point out on the ear tips is they light up. I dig lights. I really like things that light up. And they actually, if you're charging, they turn red until you're fully charged. So that's also really great. And because it's such a nice big illumination point, not a tiny little dot, that means you can tell from across the room when they're finally charged and ready to go again. So Very nice. They are IPX5 sweat proof, so you can wear these on your roughest workout, or if you really, really like jogging in the snow or rain, these will work with that just fine. And then notice that it comes with, the shape here is that there's an ear fin and an ear tip. Now, I'm not generally a fan of the ear fins or ear wings or anything like that, but these work pretty well. Basically, you put it in your ear and then just turn it just a little bit down, a little bit, I guess that would be counterclockwise. And then it just has a nice firm, it's really seated well in my ear, and it's not going to come out unless I bang my head against a wall or something, which hopefully I won't be doing. So it does come with, in the box, different size ear tips and different size ear fins, so you can make the fine-tune adjustment to get it just so. And here's one thing they've done that's really kind of fun, is they comes with 2 cases. So you have this hard case, which is sort of an interesting layout and design, and that's how it comes shipped. Not really much of a fan of hard cases, so I really appreciate that they have Plan B, which is this little leatherette case with a stiff opening on the top, and then you can use this if you want to transport them, because of course the neckband is very flexible and can easily fold up and be smaller. So all of that is really great. There's lots to like here, but really it comes down to the sound. But I want to talk about just 2 more things before I get to the sound. Number 1, I want to reiterate that the experience with the phone call was not as good as I expected, a little disappointing. But in terms of latency, when I was watching video content on my phone, it was perfect. Everything was exactly in sync, and that's really important. So that does bring us to the sound. And these sound really nice. Now, my experience with Helm Audio is that they do a nice job with their audio gear anyway, but these in particular sounded really good. I'm really a fan of like triple and quad drivers and such, because you can't really reproduce all sound frequencies the same out of a single driver. You can try, and some companies do a pretty good job, but once you start assigning different frequencies to different speakers, or if you will, little drivers, then you can really tune those to work well at that frequency. Now, as with everything that has an ear tip and goes into your ear, when I first pulled these out of the box and I plugged them in and I paired them and everything, I was like, they sound all right. And then I switched to the larger ear tips because I have larger ear canals, and it was suddenly like, oh, there's all that music. So I've been listening to some classic George Benson, right? Oh, what a great guitar player this guy is. And it just sounded fantastic. I mean, it was just like this big, rich, full studio sound, great sound stage, really nice frequency response across the spectrum, and a really nice bass without being overpowering. It's not like, turn on the disco level bass. It's just a really nice bass line, and you can follow, if you're listening to like a jazz trio, you can just pick out an instrument and follow what they're playing, including like a stand-up bass or something. So really lots to like. So in summary, I would say that I really like these. I love the design where it's the around your neck. I love getting that extra battery life. They're very comfortable. They have really good sound reproduction. A tiny bit of a point loss there for the micro USB. But the bigger issue that I found surprising was with phone calls. Your experience may be different. So I don't know whether that was just me and the way I talk on phones or something. Honestly, I don't talk on the phone very much. So when I listen to audio gear, it's 99.7% listening. So I always figure that it's like, if in an emergency I get a phone call, I can just switch over and be talking to the person. So still, I think it's important that you know that. Which leads us to the final question, which is the price. But before we get to the price, I'm going to ask if you can subscribe to my channel. That little red box on the lower right, click or tap, and boom, you're subscribed. And I really appreciate that. All right, then let's talk about the price. This is the Helm Audio Sportsband HD triple driver, and it is $129.99 at Amazon.com. But right now, as I recorded this, there's a $30 discount available making this $99. Is that right? 129 minus 30? No, $89, right? This is a really good deal. These are really nice sounding, and because of the design, they're really great if you worry about losing earbuds. And when you have these tiny little earbuds that just sit in your ear, it's awful easy to lose them, and that's really a drag if you've just spent $100 or $200 or more on earbuds, and then you finish your jog and you're like, where'd the left channel go? That's not right. And you're like, oh my gosh, I lost it. And now you're in a pickle. You literally can't do that with these. If you are on the subway and people are jostling you and you're getting pushed around or something, no problem. Now, you might have other problems in the era of COVID, but your earbuds are not going to fall out and get lost. And that's a really great reason to consider something like this. And that's all I got. So I will hope to see you in my next video.